record anything.
Oh, no.
I was out of, man, it smells in here.
No, it doesn't smell in there. It smells in here.
Oh, my bad.
Shit, we're live. Hi, everybody.
Oh.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And all that good stuff. Hey! We're living it up here in the In-Ring Wrestling Podcast. We welcome you very much to the festivities here. Yes, it's a festive time of year. And the host and creator, Casey Thompson, along with yours truly, Kevin Kelly, we are inching forward not only towards a very Merry Christmas, everybody, but also a brand new year. Casey, it's a good time. I think we should probably do some look back tonight. I know we want to do some more next week.
Sure.
We're going to have to do our gift segment next week because your gift hasn't arrived yet, but I think you're going to like it.
Did you open?
No, of course not. We have to open them at the same time.
Man, the anticipation must be driving you crazy.
I see it. It's on my kitchen table, and I keep
can
it
tell
there.
You this. You probably can tell it's not fragile the way I packed it. I got there and the box was like, oh shit, let me just smash it in there to get it.
He smashed it in.
Yeah.
No, I'm working on something special for you. I hope it turns out. If not, you will get the same thing in a less special form, but we're working on that. And hopefully that comes together next week.
Nice.
It's been a big year so far in wrestling. But from where I was thinking about it last night, I'm trying to think back. Yeah, there were some moments, but a lot of blah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, except for one thing, I ran across something this person's changed my life, my newfound love for wrestling.
Okay.
And you say his name and he appears.
Oh, no.
Yes, sir.
That
Joe
jobber,
Hendry.
what are you doing?
God. The girl got it for me, so.
That's very nice.
I always can blame it on the show. I got it for the show.
That's right. It's a write-off.
Yeah.
When you look at, guys like Joe Hendry, just should pray to the baby Jesus every day. Thank you, baby Jesus, for giving me one more day of relevance, for giving me one more day on this earth, for giving me one more opportunity. Again, he's a guy who was kicking around for years and years and years and never really did anything different. Just was his time. You could throw a $5 in the Powerball machine and win over $1 billion, Casey. Same thing.
You know what? I'm glad that it shows that persistence and perseverance pays off, and like we've talked about many wrestlers, and I caught a lot of slack this week saying that John Cena wasn't great, wasn't spectacular in the ring and stuff like that. It's like The Rock and Stone Cold and Hulk and all them. Either is he. But
you mean you were exactly right?
Whole, right, yeah, that's exactly right, yeah. But them as a whole, the whole presentation is what makes them superstars, not just their ability in the ring. They have every, common denominator to make a GOAT, so, and, I'm looking forward to see if WWE can take him and bring him to the next level with their stuff without insanely having overkill. But, it'll be fun to see.
So Vince, of course, was behind Hogan, Stone Cold, The Rock, and John Cena.
Yeah.
The stars that the Triple H regime has made, I think they've built more depth. They've got an incredible bench, and they've raised the floor, but I don't think they've raised the ceiling.
No, there's no household names. I mean,
Cody.
Roman Reigns is great, but
Roman Reigns about as
he's
close.
Not a household name. You don't put Hulk Hogan and Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is a better worker than Hogan, but he's not at the same level as Hogan by any means,
I think Roman Reigns would admit that. I think he would say that. Of course not. Yeah, there's only one Hulk Hogan.
He doesn't.
Yeah. It doesn't mean he's not great. It doesn't mean he's not rich. It just means he's not Hulk Hogan.
He's probably had more money than Hogan got because they made more money. Well, probably not Hogan. Let me take that back. He was in a different playing field than anyone else, but they get paid at the base levels. They get paid more now than they ever have. So,
correct.
Which is, good for them.
Yeah, more guaranteed
my problem
money.
is I started 10 years too late and I finished 10 years too early. Damn, I got stuck in the middle.
If you only would have had a 40-year career, Casey.
Yeah. Jim Cornette said, you know what? If you were around in the territory days, talking about me and my old partner Cliff Anderson and our tag team, the Exterminators, he says, you guys be working every single night of the week. And he says, but it's just not the territory days no more, and it's just tight. It's it's hard. So I took it as a compliment.
Right. You guys would have bounced back and forth between, and I'm just doing territories off the top of my head. You would have been in Florida. You would have gone to Puerto Rico. You would have gone to, you probably would have worked well for Ron Fuller. He didn't feature heel.
I just watched a show about YouTube video about him tonight and everything.
Yeah,
the territory. It was great.
He's freaking awesome. I love that guy. If you were around in the 70s, you probably would have worked for Crockett.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because that was tag team territory.
Yeah, even the 80s, I think we would have got there.
Yeah,
I think if I was around in a singles in the territory, definitely Florida, because what can you say? We grew up to Florida wrestling, so I think I can say that we are Southern wrestling fans.
No doubt.
You worked for a northern company, but you're still, I think, a Southern wrestling fan at heart.
Yeah, whenever I've had the opportunity to help produce anything in wrestling, how do we get heat? How do we put heat on the heels?
Yeah.
And the Tennessee two-step. I mean, pretty much that's all I've got. So
I'm in Florida, Georgia, the Mid-Atlantic, Mid-South. I think I would have loved the Mid-South territories just because all those long, grueling road trips driving everywhere. I always loved it when we were on the road. Just pack your bag and go. We'll see you when we see you. And making it out to I think Texas would be cool, out with the Von Erichs, and even go out there with Joe Blanchard, and making a way around the bend, go all the way to San Francisco and all that, and making my way up to Don Owens.
Right. When Dr. Tom was in Atlanta, he was told by Gary Hart to go out to L.A. And so, we forget about the L.A. territory, and it was on the wane when Tom was there, but, they still had Roddy Piper and Chavo Guerrero and a bunch of other, Mondo Hector, those guys. And there was some real good, like, undercard, smaller guy work. Yeah. And you might have thrived in that scenario. If you're 6'3", you'd work anywhere, but I think to probably be a feature, you'd have a job every night. Put it this way. Yeah. You would work everywhere because you'd be so reliable.
I put lifts in my boots once, and I was 6'3".
Damn.
And I put the way I had the boots specially made. I put an inch on the inside and 2 inch on the outside, and it was an all black leather boot, like a sort of like the Road Warriors kind of boots, the pull up biker boots or whatnot. And I tell you what, I had to wrestle in them a little bit just before I went out there, because I was like, oh, this is weird. Weird looking from up here, and walk in and everything else, let alone going off the top rope and stuff like that. I have a video that we did a pilot show down in the Keys, the Florida Keys, called Beach Wrestling with, remember Bill Brown?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. So Bill Brown, him and his partner, which was an attorney named Bernie.
Another cast of carny characters from our past
yeah.
lives in wrestling in Florida.
Yeah.
There's
And
a bushel
the
basket
booker
of them,
was
folks.
Duke the Dumpster Drosy.
Oh my God.
Which Duke got arrested for a little shady
Oh yeah,
stuff.
not good. No, not
Yeah.
good.
So I came in. They were calling me Skull Crusher. And I was all in like like the 80s Road Warrior, all black leather chaps and vest. And I was 300 pounds all jacked up doing hurting Karanas off the top rope and everything. I'd won hurting Karana off the top rope. But the guy I was wrestling came in, he was all oiled up and glittery and everything.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh, it's just, and he got caught with Bernie, one of the promoter's daughters at the pool was underage. I beat the living shit out of him during the match. And I punched him so hard at the top of his head that you could see him start coloring from my punches and
Oh
everything.
God.
So, but it was
another example, folks, of the boys ruining it for the boys.
Yeah, exactly. It was crazy. It was like a independent show. It was a pilot for some South American thing. It was all Chris Cruz was brought in to be the commentator with
Why
Chris
not?
Nelson.
Oh my God.
So yeah, and they paid us $250 for the night. For the one pilot, which was cool, But the thing is, our rooms cost us about $250 a night.
Oh no. So
I
yeah, because you're in the Keys.
Yeah, I roomed with. You remember Anthony Michaels?
Yeah, that was the name. I was trying to think of him a couple of weeks ago, Casey, and I was like, why didn't I think? I'll text Casey and ask him. But I was trying to think. I said, what was the name of that one guy? I know Casey liked him and used him.
Oh, yeah, he was actually a really close friend of mine. We're still buddies. He's one of the guys that I just know his phone number off the top of my head. I like one of the three numbers I know. I don't have a program, Anthony. 561-251, whatever else. I don't ever want to be calling him.
Give his phone number out. Why not?
Yeah,
he'll be popular.
And then he got into graphic design and started doing banners and stuff like that. So then he became my best friend. Because I needed banners for wrestling and everything, and he always took care of me and everything. So, but he lived at the apartment in Smoky Mountain with Jericho and all those guys.
Correct.
ECW. He was the original Dudley with who's the other guy? Bradley.
Jeff Bradley.
Yeah, Jeff Bradley. Him and Anthony were the original Dudleys in ECW.
Really?
Yeah, the originals, and then all the rest of them came after, part of the big Dudley family and everything. And so he was Snot Dudley.
Ew.
Anthony was. I forget what Jeff was, and Jeff. I remember being over in Puerto Rico with Jeff and everything, and he looked like a Charles Manson with a big beard and everything. Ankle all fused up. He went to India to have his ankle was all fused the wrong way and everything, and he went to India because it was cheaper to have surgery over there and had them fix it, and came back here and wrestled a few more years. He's a really good. He's like Dennis Knight, a really good culinary chef. So,
really?
Which is kind of crazy seeing those two people in your kitchen as you cook. Feel like, oh man, I don't know what's going on here.
You never want to go in a kitchen and see who's cooking your food, Case. I mean,
yeah, it's funny when I was in Puerto Rico. I stayed at the Dahlia where all the boys did. Where
nice.
Eddie Gilbert. I was in his room, or the room that he died in. And so anyhow, I went downstairs because Jeff had the downstairs apartment, and he had a big pot of like a stew that he was cooking and everything.
Damn.
So he was like, all right, Jeff's got the food.
Yeah, the Dahlia was that was the place to be. The Puerto Rico.
It was such a gimmick too, because they were in cahoots with the office, and they charged you for every little thing. And I remember when my time was up, I was like, "Get me the hell off this island!" And I was using my cell phone that didn't work over there for an alarm. And this is back in the late '90s, right? So maybe 2000, no, maybe 2000, 90, 2000, 99, 2000, somewhere in there. I
Mm-hmm.
remember I was using my cell phone as my alarm, and I went and used a payphone to call home, and then I went up to my room and I'm like, oh shit, my phone. I ran back downstairs. Literally 30 seconds, the phone was gone. Someone stole it.
Oh my
And
God.
so I had to go to the corner store, the pharmacy. Everything's a pharmacy over there. So I went to the pharmacy to get an alarm because I had my time was up. So I'm like, I got a flight. I said, hey, get me off this island. I got a flight to get out the next day. And I said, you know what? Let me check my alarm to make sure that I'll hear it. And it was like this. You couldn't hear it. It was as loud as it would go. And I was so paranoid that I was going to miss my flight. I was like, I just started staying up and I started falling asleep. I said, let me get up. I shaved my arm and laid back down. I shaved my head. I shaved my leg, shaved my other leg. I laid back down, shaved my other arm, shaved my chest. I was slick as could be when I got home, but I was like, I didn't want to fall asleep. Finally, I just packed up my stuff and went downstairs and hailed the cab and went to the airport and you're not going to miss your flight when all your luggage is in front of the door for the terminal. So
Right.
they're going to wake you up
Exactly.
and say, hey, senor.
Ah,
So,
senor. Here's an interesting thought from our friend Scott. Talking about Casey in the territory days. I think Casey versus Les Thornton would have been fun to see. No doubt. There was
that would
like Les Thornton, Gordon Nelson, Reggie Parks, those types of guys. I could see you like bonding with them and
So what do you want to
learning
say,
from
Steve?
them.
I wouldn't be a main eventer?
It would be a fun match to watch, but that would be the way to heat you up a little bit. You know what I mean? Let you get a win over Les Thornton on TV. He just beat the former junior heavyweight champion. Then you come over, you cut the promo about Jerry Briscoe, you call him a bogus Indian, and we're off to the races.
I'm getting that belt, by the way, the Les Thornton belt. I finally found it, and
really,
it's pretty cool. It's all black and everything. Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
That's amazing. When you the homesteaders instead of the exterminators, you guys could have just.
Yeah.
He doesn't mean it that way, but when I read it, Joe, when I read your line, I was like, homesteaders, that'd be a good gimmick. No, homesteaders, folks, were what they called wrestlers who stayed in a territory forever.
Yeah, Florida was one of those territories that they wanted to because the trips were short and the weather was great. So, and the money wasn't bad from what I understand.
Right. As soon as they cut Tallahassee and Jacksonville every week out of the loop, it was much better because everything was kind of like 75 south. Ocala was a spot show. Daytona was a spot show. So you had Tampa, you had Orlando, you had West Palm, you had Miami, you had Fort Lauderdale, you had the Southwest towns, and that was about it.
Yeah.
So guys so was Humperdinck considered a homesteader in Florida?
I think so. He's there quite a bit. I mean, I did see him in a couple other territories. But I noticed that a lot of the Florida guys always did like Fuller's territory. What was that? Southeast or which turned into a bunch of other ones, but Southeast in Georgia. I guess they just make that loop or whatever. It was pretty interesting.
Right.
Did you
I saw Humperdinck in working for Crockett for a little while. That surprised me. I didn't know that he had been there.
Yeah, I saw some videos the other day that I was watching myself. Actually, I think on Peacock they have some of the old territory stuff, and I was watching some Mid-Atlantic stuff, and Humperdinck was on it. So it was.
Let me ask you a question. There was a guy that I'm trying to think of. He broke in about the same time as Ron Simmons in Florida, and he was a very large black man. I can't remember. I think they called him Dewey. I think Dewey was his first name, but I could be wrong. But I have never seen any footage of him. He may have quit. I have no idea.
Was he trained by Hiro Masuda?
I'm guessing because him and Ron Simmons debuted about the same time, and they were singles. It's not like they put the two black guys together as a tag. It was just coincidence.
Right.
And as big as Ron was, this guy was even bigger. Now he was fatter.
Who's your favorite Florida Territory tag team? Do you have one?
Steve Kern and Mike Graham.
Okay. You know who mine was?
Who?
The Zambui Express.
Oh, I love the Zambui Express.
Yeah. To me, there's this bigger than. I remember being at Battle of the Belts 3 at the Ocean Center. And I think it was Kareem Mohammed and Ed the Bull Gantner against the Road Warriors. And I remember Ray Candy hitting the ropes, and it looked like they were just coming back, like it was going to snap eventually, So
I was with Tilly the night that we heard that Ray Candy died, and
oh wow,
he said we need to call Jack because Jack was really fond of him, and so we were both on the phone, and he was like, "Man, it just broke my heart that Dusty had us beat the Zambuis," and I said, "Dusty, it's not time yet. No, it's not time yet. No, baby, we got to go over to the Orange Bowl or whatever it was, some big show."
Right.
And he was like, "They were never the same afterward, and I never could make it up to him." What a great man Ray Candy was. Just fawning all over him. So, but yeah, what a massive human being. My God. And I loved Badly Roy Brown. When he was coming in and out, and just the promo, the loud voice and the elbow drop. Forget it. It's all you needed.
And they had that one-off manager, Jimmy Holiday.
Right.
Jim Holiday. And I've never seen him anywhere else. So
no.
I think he just did TVs maybe. I don't even remember seeing him on house shows.
Well, he was a brother of somebody.
Oh, okay. I asked Bugsy once, and he didn't even remember who he was.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was an underneath manager. He'd lived with his brother on the coast. Daytona, somewhere like that. And however he got into the business, got into managing, was through his brother.
Yeah.
I can't remember if his brother was a wrestler or not. May have been. But it's
those
just
guys got in because they had the hookup for gimmicks.
Yeah, I know. And when we talk about gimmicks, folks.
Yeah, there you go. You remember Jimmy Holiday had the Zambui Express and then brought in Abdul the Butcher? And Abby would eat the foam microphone off of the microphone. I mean, like,
yes.
I always talking to the kid. I look at it and say, "What's he do with that thing?" I'm like,
But he must have just
money.
looked at. Yeah, he just must have looked at Jim Holiday like, "What a mark."
Yeah. I also liked Ron Bass and Black Bart when they were with JJ. Yeah.
Anything with JJ was great.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, but I liked Graham and Kern because of the quick pace of the tags. Their matches with Sakuraba and Saito were great. They were fantastic. My God, they moved a million miles an hour. And it was just wonderful with Hattori on the outside, waving the flag, getting heat. Yeah. Trying to think of who else I would have really liked. Florida didn't have a super solid tag division, as people would say nowadays. You had a lot of put together teams that would ascend. Hey, my brother Sweet Brown Sugar and I are going to go after the tag belts.
I had a piece of memorabilia from Florida Wrestling I wanted to get out, and it's way up there. I'm not going to be able to get it out. I had to bring it next week. I can guarantee you that nobody else, and this is a one-of-one piece of memorabilia, no one else in the world has what I have. And it came off, they were the break dancers, which was Brickhouse Brown. Yeah.
The breakdancers were over, folks.
Yeah.
Because we had never seen anything like that before on TV. And this was 1984. Now, I always thought, and I watched it back not too long ago, and I realized I was wrong. I thought it was Brickhouse Brown and Teddy Long. that were the original breakdancers. But it was Brickhouse Brown and another guy who I couldn't place his face. He may have just been a dancer, may have been a trainee at Bricks, who knows? But it was, that gimmick was over for like a minute.
Yeah. I remember my dad went to the matches. I couldn't go this one particular time when it was in Fort Myers at the Lee County Civic Center. I was bummed, and my dad, he'd always bring back a program or whatnot. And he's like, hey, I brought you something. He's holding it with a napkin. And it's one of the really long cornrows with the roots and all the dandruff and everything in it. I'm like, oh, and it stunk. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it's up in my photo album. It actually been there since the 80s in the photo album in the page. I still have it.
How did it come out of his head? Who ripped it out?
I don't know who they were. I think they might have been working like, I don't remember who they were. They're called the Hollywood Blondes. They were Florida versions of the Hollywood Blondes. They wore tuxedo jackets. They look like the Mulkeys, but like parted hair, blonde hair parted down the middle, feathered back. I think that's who they worked that night. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to go back and look at it more, but
not Jerry Brown and Buddy Roberts. It wasn't even Brian St. John and Stan Lane, right? Maybe it was.
No, this was two guys I've never. They weren't big. They weren't muscular, or they look like big. Like they look bigger than Denny Brown, but comparable body size to Denny Brown.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Denny Brown had enough muscle to where he looked like he could fight for real, but you wouldn't describe him as muscular.
Yeah. I have a picture with Denny Brown when I was 12 years old, and his head's right here and my head's right there.
I towered over Denny Brown. Oh my gosh.
I saw him not too long ago.
What's he doing? He was painting houses for years, right?
No, he retired as a welder. He was welding. He was telling me and Bugsy how he got into the business. And he was a union welder, got out of it, started wrestling, got back into it, and he's retired, just drinking and fishing, going out on the boat, you know. So I think he wants to wrestle one more match. I wrestled him in his last match. He he threw his back out during the middle of the match. It was me and Cliff against him, and I can't remember who the other person was. And it was one of those, Cliff used to do these stadium matches where they would wheel the ring out and do like 3 matches after a minor league baseball game.
Those were great. Yeah.
And it was Denny, and I can't remember for the life of me who it was. And I had to walk him out to his car afterwards because his back was completely out.
Oh my gosh.
And, so I guess health is doing good, and he was making the notion that he wanted to have one more match or something like that. I'm like, why? You know?
Because he wants to have one more match where his back doesn't go out.
Yeah, okay. Well,
don't put him in the ring
with my last one, and I am content with not going back in that thing.
Don't put him in the ring with somebody like you big stiffy. Hurt the poor guy.
Come on. I know. Well, that's alleged.
I could bring a whole conga line full of witnesses in for this trial.
I spoke to, speaking of stiff, I spoke to Alex Wright on Facebook.
Okay.
I was thinking our matches used to be real stiff, and he's like, "Hey, I got a half hour in February on a Tuesday, like 3:00 his time.
Let's do it."
Thinking, and I'm like, I don't think Kevin can be there, but
sure I could.
I said, all right. I said, let me ask Kevin, and I was like, okay. I figure worst case, I could wing a half hour talking to someone I've been in the ring with a few times.
I'd want to talk to Alex Wright. Whatever happened to him? Where'd you go? Why'd you disappear? And why couldn't we get you in Ring of Honor?
He has his own promotion in Germany.
Yeah.
Has television, has a big school, and I saw some of the product. It's really cool. It's kind of a little hardcore. some of it, but I mean, he's doing well. I don't think he wrestles as much.
No, he messaged me when Ring of Honor was going, and he was trying to find a way to get some of his students involved. And I was like, are you kidding me? Let's get Alex Wright involved as well. And it's another one of those ideas that was really good, and everybody just looked at me like, huh? I was so sick of that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't think Southern Joe is throwing a name out here, and I'm not sure if this is it, because I think this version of the Hollywood Blondes might be later. Chris Michaels, because I remember a Hollywood Blondes team that wrestled in OVW about the time that John Cena was getting started there. So I think we're talking like 1984.
Yeah.
Because the breakdancers had a window that was about yay wide.
Right. There's probably not many people who knew the breakdancers are.
No, a brick went back to Tennessee, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I was seeing something Missy Hyatt posted. Cornette was talking about what the payoffs were in World Class. And Missy said that when she was there in 85, when she managed John Tatum, she got $150 and John Tatum got $250 to wrestle.
Wow.
When you said that $250 figure before for that beach wrestling thing, that's what triggered it. And when Missy would wrestle, which occasionally they did, she would get $250. Or wait, did she get $175? She got a little bump in pay when she wrestled.
Okay.
But this is 1985. Then when they went to work for Bill Watts, they got $50,000 a year guaranteed.
Wow. A guarantee from Bill Watts.
But you got to cover all your expenses.
Yeah. That's why back in the territory days, they either had a rat that would take them everywhere, or they would have they'd have sponsors in every city they go to, and they'd have 4 guys into a car or to a van or whatnot, and they'd pack in, and hopefully their sponsor would be at the building, go do their thing, and they have packed lunch, a bag of food and fresh clothes, and go to the next town.
God. Yeah, because
I remember once. You remember Dave Johnson, right, my buddy?
Of course.
When the Blackhearts, he was in Memphis, and they were the Blackhearts, him and Tom Nash, and so there's 2 girls, and they're a little oversized,
and
so there's Tom and Dave, and Dave's like, I'll take the biggest one. I'll be the team player. And so he's in there in the bed with the girl, and above the bed is a autographed 8x10 photo of the Warlord.
Oh my God.
He's like, he's doing his thing and saying, hey, is he come home anytime soon?
So he was Eskimo Brothers with the Warlord. Nice.
That's just always a funny story.
Right? That would scare you. You would be scared to death. I don't think anybody really realizes. Of course, in the heyday of the territory days, things were great and everybody was making a ton of money, and you would pay people to clean your clothes and to prepare your food and, service your car. But when you were making $25, $50 a night,
$40 a night, and
survive it. How are you going to afford it?
Yeah. Oh, I know. You have to be innovative, figure out how to get to the next town. I almost went to Memphis, and I had this little silver bullet trailer I was about to buy. And it was big enough to put a bed, basically a bed. It was like you had to duck your head to get in it. And I was just going to pull that everywhere I went and just, set it down and sleep in it to save money on, hotel. Have me and another, couple people just crash in the thing and just save on hotel and just split the trans and all that. So, everyone's did all kinds of stuff. I told stories how the Armstrongs and Tracy Smothers would come on they had a big wasn't really a Winnebago. It was one of the smaller ones, but they'd always show up late for TV. And when the door opened, the smoke would just roll out like the thing was on fire. And they'd be like, always late because they're smizzing so much, smoking, and just driver, hey, that's our exit. Oh, yeah, cool. Pass that over, They are always late for TV.
Man, oh man, them Armstrongs. I got to work, when I got to work with Scott Armstrong a few weeks ago there in Mobile, Alabama. It was just, it was fantastic just listening to him talk, and I'm hearing his dad, I'm hearing his brothers, I'm hearing the family, and it's just, great the way he explains things. And he came from, of course, from a generation that understood the business at the cellular level that wrestlers today just don't understand.
Right.
And it, is that getting back to our original point, where stars are made today? Can they be duplicated? Can they be replicated? I'm not so sure anymore. The brand is bigger than the stars.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, yeah, and that's what I think they have been trying to do and that's why they don't care about, the ticket prices are high and stuff like that. They're, when you go to the circus, Barnum and Bailey, what are you going for? Oh, those little clown. No, Barnum and Bailey is why you're going because the name, and that's what they've done with wrestling. You're going for the WWE experience and everything that comes with it. And oh yeah, it might have this guy. Roman Reigns might be there too, and this, CM Punk, this and that. But there's only very limited name recognizable people outside of the WWE bubble.
Still, yeah, I think CM Punk is there.
Yeah.
Cody there. Roman, of course.
Seth Rollins.
And then Drew McIntyre, and then, and occasionally you get the Brock Lesnar of the world. But right. Casey, I want to do something right now. We've pulled the cover off the wrestling business. We've had no problems telling folks exactly the way it is. What I want to do right now is I want to expose college football and professional football. Okay?
Oh.
I figured it out. And okay. I'm serious as a heart attack. I told people this theory today, and nobody shot it down. They were like, wow, I hadn't thought of that, but you might be onto something. So the big controversy in college football a few weeks ago was that Notre Dame was not included in the college football playoff. And everybody was like, how in the world can you not have Notre Dame? Notre Dame said, we got jobbed. And they put these two small schools in. Yes, they had won their conference. And yes, at the beginning of the season, there was talk that these conferences might have representation. Well, they both did. And it's Tulane, and it was James Madison University. Two fine schools, academic, tremendous, good athletic schools as well.
Yeah.
They both played on Saturday. And, by the way, they both lost badly, as predicted. Tulane played Ole Miss, and James Madison went out to Oregon and got humbled by the Ducks in Eugene. You know what else happened yesterday, Saturday? The NFL had a pair of games on. First game was the Philadelphia Eagles against the Washington Commanders. Second game was for the lead in the NFC North. It was Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. And I thought to myself, this is the reason why Notre Dame isn't in there, and they put these two jobber schools in, and they both played on Saturday up against the NFL. You see, the NFL rules everything. Television rules everything. But the NFL is number one. And as big as college football wants to get, it's never going to be the NFL. And when the NFL said, hey, college football, you want to do this playoff? That's cute. That's fun. Just don't be cutting into our ratings. Oh, don't worry, NFL. Don't you worry. We've got a plan in mind. Now, the reason I say that, why Notre Dame specifically, because if Notre Dame would have been in, they are a ratings draw, Casey. They're a household brand, okay? And that was why people said, they're trying to launch this college football playoff. Wouldn't you want the most well-known school? Not so fast. Because if you put Notre Dame against Ole Miss, it's going to draw a number. And that would affect the Philadelphia versus Washington game. If you put Notre Dame versus Oregon, holy hell, that's going to draw a huge number. There aren't many fans on the East Coast who are going to care about Oregon. But if I have the choice to watch Notre Dame versus Oregon or Green Bay versus Chicago, I might be watching. I'm going to be flipping back and forth. The NFL rules, folks, and that's the reason why Notre Dame was not in the college football playoff. Because when they looked at the TV schedule, college football knew they had to put 2 patsies in for games that weren't necessarily going to draw, where the outcomes would be predetermined, because everybody knew Ole Miss and Oregon were going to win, and that's exactly what happened. So I want to make sure that everybody understands that people talk about wrestling being fake, wrestling being fixed, predetermined, whatever. It's all fake. It's all predetermined. Okay? Wrestling has done it longer because they've been around longer than other professional sports, but politics learned it from wrestling. The NBA is a complete work. The NFL is a complete work. So is college football. Baseball, anybody? Cheating? Steroids? You want it? You got it.
Wow.
It's all been done. There you go.
That's
Soapbox down. Okay, now I'm finished. That'll make a good short for this week.
I haven't seen this anywhere yet. I don't know, but I did hear from an inside source from the company that everyone's favorite babyface, Tony Khan.
Gigantic babyface, yes.
Yeah. Had, right before Christmas, fired 95 people on his production crew. His whole entire production crew that he started from day one, he fired, and he's bringing in a whole new production crew.
Ooh.
I know you know some of them.
I do.
So, yeah. That's the word I heard. So that's I've been fired right before Christmas before. And I know how I felt about. I've been fired from one job ever in my life, and it's very political. And but I remember the feeling right before Christmas. You know, it's like, wow, that's a tough deal. You know, I mean, there must have been something really seriously. You know, maybe their production values is why they're not drawn.
Yeah, that ain't it.
Because they're not drawn. I don't care what anyone says. My inside source says they're not doing the few house shows they have, very few people. TV barely drawn, and pay-per-views they're doing okay. But besides that, it's like crickets.
So are
but
they?
The checks
but
are
you
still
said,
clearing.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. But okay, so these people, these production people, they're going to be replaced.
That's what that. I don't know a lot of details. I'm just telling what I know, and
because if you're taking now,
find out some more.
Yeah, we got to find out if this indeed happened. We got to find out more of the story.
Yeah.
And
allegedly from an inside AEW source, said they just got rid of 95 of their whole production staff, 95 people fired.
Wow. Now I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that reported anywhere. So we have to double and triple check. But I mean, that's something for our intrepid, sources here involved in the In-Ring Wrestling Podcast Network to get on and try to find out some deets. Because if they're going, so if they're taking, let's say everybody worked for the same production company, right? And you were independent contractor, 1099 through ABC Production. Right. Okay, so if they got rid of ABC Production, they got rid of all of you, and they're going to bring in 123 Production with a whole new cast, the same size, the same scope. I don't know, but what a kick in the dick right before Christmas. Oh,
yeah, that's what you know what I can see. You got to make moves to what you feel is best for the direction of your company. I get that, but are you really a babyface if you're going to fire that many people right before Christmas? So
I know Vince.
That's
you know what Vince would have said? Nothing personal, pal. Just business.
yeah. No, I get it.
But
Still,
that's the
he gets enough
yeah.
heat anyhow. So
I know. Vince didn't care. Vince didn't position himself as the ultimate babyface.
right.
That's what he is. And I've talked about this before, you know, that with Cody's departure, because I still feel that it's the one job, the one person they could never replace was Cody, because he was the literal face of the company. He was public relations. He was customer service. He wrestled. He promoted. He main evented. He carried the company on his back.
Right.
You know, they've never been able to replace him. I said this the other day because Cody had a quote on SmackDown about his place in wrestling in the modern era. And basically it was, you know, I have done what nobody else had done before. And you got to think about it, Case. He left WWE on good terms as a mid-carder.
Right.
He launched an independent wrestling career where he basically went everywhere, did business with everybody, and made every independent promotion better than how he found it. He went to Japan, became a star. Then he and the Bucks and Kenny founded AEW, got that going, blew that up, became a major star in AEW, then left that and went back to WWE on good terms, by the way, and was a bigger star than how he had left. Yeah. I can't think of anybody else that's ever done that. And that's what I was trying to think of.
He left AEW coming into WWE as the biggest star in wrestling. They portrayed him as no one was bigger than him.
No.
He just got catapulted all the way up to the top.
You could say, well, Hogan did that. To a certain extent, yes. But WCW was a major company that had been on its ass for the last, 5-6 years before he got there.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It wasn't like starting something new from the ground up.
And it wasn't like Hogan went and did independent dates at all.
No. Hogan slid right from Vince into the car on MGM Boulevard. So, you know, Scott has an interesting point here, and it's, you know, it could be cost cutting. It could be cost cutting. And, you know, here's another, you know, Ray J, thanks for chiming in tonight. All this while TNA is getting super big. And by the way, so my inside sources at TNA, and I've talked to a couple of the boys that work there. This is for real.
Really?
Yeah, they're playing for keeps now. TNA thinks that I don't mean this like corporately. I mean this in terms of the locker room, okay? That this is TNA's time that they've been waiting for, and all the boys who stuck around, the guys and girls who stuck around and continued to work hard and bust their ass for this company, and that were there through all the ups and downs when Chris Bay broke his neck and everybody was in that room crying. All of those people that stuck together, family, they now are like, they're going to know our names just like the wrestlers in AEW were known. This is our time to make a move. And cool. I think we're going to see effort like never before. Everybody's going to come in the best shape ever. They're going to be just ready to explode on TV. I think it's going to be awesome.
And I think our favorite Tessa Blanchard's still there.
She is technically, right?
I believe I think she goes back to Mexico back and forth.
She started standing up for herself a little bit online. I saw that the other day. Good for her.
Oh, good.
Yeah. How long do people have to suffer? How long do people have to spend in quarantine? How long do people have to spend in isolation?
Yeah.
You know? Nobody said she was perfect. Nobody said she was right. Nobody said Marty Scurll was perfect. Nobody said Marty Scurll was right. How freaking long do these people have to pay for their sins? My God, you run down the street and you club an old lady over the head, now you get 6 months probation. Can't make a living for 10 years?
In California.
Well, that's true. I'm just.
Then I heard another thing where CM Punk was talking about his whole thing with what's the kid's name? Luke Perry.
Jack Perry.
Yeah, Luke Perry's kid, Jack Perry. And he said he went to Tony Khan and was like, Tony, handle this, take care of this. We don't need 2 shows. We don't need this. We don't need that. He's like, what do you want me to do? He's like, I want you to be the owner and to handle it. He says, because you don't want me to handle it, you know? And he said Jack did what he did and he came in the back. He happened to be the next match. And he's like, I didn't do anything wrong. He says, he's like, I said something to him and he smarted off to me. And he says, I didn't punch him. He said, I choked him a little. He says, and Joe said, hey, let him go. He said, I let him go and everything. And he's like, you know what? He says, Tony Khan's just a clown. And that's straight video from CM Punk saying it. So I thought that was pretty hot. I thought it was pretty good.
Well, again,
pretty
that
funny.
was all, and a lot of that has come out over time.
Yeah.
And yes, every word of that true. That's exactly from CM Punk. That was the feeling, of course, when all of this happened. And everybody who was anti-Punk, not everybody, but a lot of people that were either anti-Punk or on the fence felt that what he said needed to be said. And when he got fired, it was some of the people were like, Kevin, you didn't see what we saw. You didn't hear what we heard. I'm like, okay, I get that. I know that it was troubling for what you saw and for what you heard, but there was a reason by it. Not every conversation is PC, and not every conversation is meant for public consumption. There are things, Casey, you're my boss. You yell at me, and I either take it or I quit, right? But if you don't talk to me the way I need to be talked to, then the problem is with you, not with me.
Right.
Why don't you deal with your trouble?
Right.
Why don't you deal with your troublesome employee, Casey? Well, Kevin, he's a valuable guy and he's a sensitive guy and I don't want to piss him off and blah, blah, blah. No, that's crap. You got to take care of it. And that's all anybody ever said about Tony. Don't fire me, Casey, please. I need this job, man.
Yeah, I'm going to cut your pay.
No.
No Christmas bonus, Kevin. Sorry.
Let me go to my phone. Hello, bank.
As old Don Owens would say, the mill's all dried up. There's nothing going on up here.
Oh my God! Well, I
talked to him a bunch on the phone back in the day. And,
did you really?
I wanted to go. Yeah, because I wanted to go out to Oregon. It would have been real too early for me, but I still wanted to go and try. And yeah, he was like, hey, he's really nice. He was like, it's all dried up. The mills are closed. And he'd go through the whole spiel every time. So, but it was, it was cool to be able to, talk to him and stuff like that.
Did Blackjack Mulligan, who of course was Casey's trainer, and I say this because we're always updating new fans, one of the many hands that trained Casey along the way. And certainly a great mentor. Did Jack did he have any advice on getting out and going places, or was he of the same belief as Don Owen that the mill was dry and there was nowhere to go?
He was just saying, Case, it's just not like it used to be. There's no places to go. It's just a big 2, and and it just is what it is. If you weren't like, for Vince, it was Jack sent up Billy Gunn and Bart Gunn, Mike and Kip, but they were 6'5", 6'4", 6'5" each, big old guys. So they had and they're Kipper was a lot better than Mike was. Mike was really green at the time, but he was good, But they had that look, so it was easy for Jack to send them up and everything.
Right.
So,
it was the same look that they were doing in Florida. They just changed the name from the Long Riders to the Smoking Guns. It was the exact same thing.
They didn't change anything really.
No.
Except
no.
for
their names and the catchphrase. If the Colts don't catch you, the Winchester will. I just love that. I would remind Kip of that pretty much every time. And that's the damn shame of it, because when wrestling schools bring students in today, what they're talking about is, yes, if you have dreams and aspirations of going to WWE, we can help you take your first steps. Yes, if you want to travel around as an independent wrestling star, we can help you get there. Yes, if you want to just be a weekend warrior and just do this for fun, we can do this. That used to not be wrestling school. Wrestling school used to be, you shut up, you don't talk, you don't tell anybody about this, and we'll help you go someplace if we like you. And if not, shut up and get out of here. And then they would stretch you and see if you'd come back tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Can you imagine if a wrestling school, like if we dropped if we dropped Eddie Graham and Bob Roop at the Sportatorium into a wrestling school now?
Ain't no one there.
He would chase them all away.
Out of 100, you might have 1 or 2 people come back.
Sure. And those are the ones you train.
Yeah, I think the closest rendition to that ever was the Power Plant. How they had their tryouts where they just killed people.
Yeah.
And they didn't even get in the ring. They just killed them doing calisthenics.
Right. Let's see what kind of condition you're in.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I'd go to a school and it's like, how long you been training there, youngster, young man, young woman? Oh, this is my, 3rd week or 2nd month or whatever. And it's like, I'm not so sure you're physically capable of doing this, It's like, you've got to start developing the good habits of going to the gym. It's kind of like going to the military. Like, one of the reasons why I didn't want to go into the Army, I had the opportunity, I didn't want to go into the Army, was because I couldn't run. Like, I could never run for distance. My shins hurt.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't even get into shape to go through boot camp. How am I going to survive boot camp?
Yeah.
So
I didn't like people telling me what to do, especially at 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's right. Here's something interesting from Ray J, and we don't talk about Mexico very much, but you see the pictures from Conan? Holy moly, they drew a hell of a house. AAA was their stuff is over. Of course, CMLL is just ridiculously over. They sold 1 million tickets in one building this year. My God.
Is Michelle McCool booking AAA? Sorry.
I don't know. I haven't heard Mr. or Mrs. Undertaker's name associated with the promotion. So,
okay.
I always just see Conan pushing, hey, AAA's kicking ass. And good for Conan. Did you ever smoke up with Conan?
No, I don't ever smoked.
I mean, you would. You would have watched.
Oh, yeah, I've been there, yeah.
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 That's right. You were
not I used Conan on the MXPW shows.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That was after or before me.
No, you were there. Dusty was there. Conan was there.
Who did Conan wrestle? Or did he come out?
No, he wrestled. I want to say it was him and Norman Smiley were together.
Oh my gosh.
I think. And I'm really. I know they wrestled Antonio or MVP Antonio Banks.
Yep.
And the Cuban Assassin, David Sierra.
Somebody had to hold Conan. That's great. That's good booking. Let Norman work with MVP and Antonio Banks, and let the Cuban and Conan hold each other up. Fantastic.
Brother, I got this Cuban heavyweight title belt. Okay.
The flag, and
some
fantasy.
of the people I just booked because, which, I like Dave. He's had problems with me. Whatever, it's all good. But at one point, I was like, you know what? Who's all the people who I had dealings with over the years? So I'm like, okay. My dealings you were good, so I wanted you to come in. I'm like, oh, Penzer, he was always a little twerp to me. But he was okay. A twerp I liked, but still a twerp. And so I brought him in to be the ring announcer. And which he did so much. Having a ring announcer that knows what he's doing, and you just say, here's the lineup, and you don't have to talk to him. And everything is good is second to none. Then because the only thing my business partner in the wrestling ever did is like, hey, listen, I never tell you what to do or what you can and can't do, but I need a favor for you to do this for me. You can tell me no, but as a favor to me, he says, I have a DJ at my club who does radio and everything. Can you have him be the ring announcer? Because I'm already paying him, so we don't have to pay him. And plus, I throw him a little something on the side, but it'd be a favor to build his resume. And I'm like, all right. A guy named Tommy. I've known Tommy for years from the strip clubs and this, that.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, did I have to tell him every little detail, what to say, when to say it. It was just like, oh my gosh. Having Penzer was like a night off. I didn't have to worry about anything,
Right.
So
he's produced thousands of hours of television from the ring.
Yeah.
And
I remember when
Tommy,
Penzer, we used to ride up with him in the van when he was Bob Roop's stooge when Roop was at WCW, and then Penzer was trying to become the ring announcer when Gary Mike Capetta was leaving. So Penzer was taking voice lessons to learn how to talk so nasally through his nose and all that. So he would be using his ring announcer voice when he was driving and everything. We'd be yelling, "Shut up, Penzer! We're trying to sleep," and everything.
Penzer's a great ring announcer. He's not Howard Finkel. He's never claimed to be Howard Finkel. Howard Finkel is it for me. Bobby Cruz, very good too.
I will say that he never claimed to be like the world's greatest ring announcer. I think he did an adequate job. He was fine, and there's nothing wrong with what he did. But he never claimed to be, I was the best ring announcer. Yeah, you remember WCW had Rhubarb Jones, the old Atlanta radio station guy. I remember him being the ring announcer when I was doing TV.
So this is a name that I don't know. Before Bruce Tharpe was the ring announcer for Florida, they had a heavy-set guy who would talk very quickly. And in the blue corner from, Japan, 265 pounds, Killer Khan. And in the red corner, from Austin, Texas, 278 pounds, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And he would get out.
Oh, I don't know. You know who we could ask? Our buddy Bruce Owens, who was the referee for them for a little bit. He was also a ring announcer for Florida. On Facebook, you'll see him showing a picture. Oh, look, young Bruce Owens there. And he might know who it is. He seems to remember those things a little more.
Because they didn't. And occasionally Gordon may have thrown him a mention, but I can't.
Right.
I can't off the top of my head remember. This was TV house show. This was TV ring announcing. Yes. I couldn't remember who the ring announcers were at the various events that I went to. They didn't strike me as memorable, horrible characters from TV. Anybody I would have known.
I think back then it would be like a local DJ maybe, or
probably.
I know like Coach Sean Heath in his towns, he was a town guy. He would be the ring announcer, but he never got in the ring for the most part. He would just do it from back from where the bell was and everything, back behind the stage. I know in Fort Myers and Punta Gorda, and I never went to Robarts Arena in Sarasota. So I don't know if he got in the ring, but that was where he lived, his hometown and everything. I never knew that Coach Sean Heath was a wrestler too.
A pro wrestler, yes, he was.
Yeah, I knew he was an amateur wrestler. I never knew he was a pro though.
Yeah, he donned the tights for a while.
I saw him doing a job on TV for someone once in Florida.
That was probably, as far as he went, he'd be good in the shine, and then he'd start to get, once the villainous heel would begin to open up his repertoire, his book of tricks, and Coach John Heath is looking to shoot the whizzer on him. It's not, it wasn't going to work out so well. Well, Coach John. Yeah. There's, and again, when you look at the trainers today and you look at what's going on, here's a name, probably one of the biggest trees of all is Killer Kowalski. And like, for example, TNA World Champion Frankie Kazarian was trained by Killer Kowalski. Traveled all the way from California to Massachusetts to be trained by Killer Kowalski. And even at that point, Killer was slowing down, was not doing a whole lot of instructing, but just the face, the presence, the claw, just all of that permeated through him and into you. You learned. I had several conversations with him backstage in Boston where he and I would just chat about different things. And what a brilliant man. What a fascinating guy.
Didn't he train Triple H?
Yeah.
Didn't Triple H, and maybe Triple H told this story. I guess when he came to WCW, he's like, hey, I think it was Ole or someone. Hey, kid, who trained you? Oh, Killer Kowalski. Yeah, he's the shits. Kind of deflate that ego.
Yes.
Yeah,
see you later.
I can't stand him. He's the shits.
He hardly Triple H didn't do very much in the way of indie wrestling.
No.
Got signed pretty quickly because Kowalski was smart, saw that he had, $1 million talent, and called Atlanta and got him a job. Probably called New York first. But at that point, New York wasn't hiring, especially they didn't have any place for guys to go.
Yeah, I remember I saw on one of the videos. I don't remember if it was Ole Anderson or Bill Watts that said it. I think it was Ole. It sounds like something Ole would have said and done.
Oh, about Kowalski? No doubt.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just fascinating, Casey, to sit around, and if we did this like at any function, right? We would be kicked back and we would be drinking sodas and just BSing and having a chat and talking about this. And now it's like we've just got our headsets on and we're talking on a Sunday night.
Hey, we're giving away our secret of our format of our show.
Oh, shush. A lot of science goes into this, kids. A lot of hard work, diligence, sweat on the brow.
All week long, Production meetings.
95 people just coming in.
Yeah.
But what I think would be cool for next week, and this was an idea that you gave me, and I think it's great, and I just want to let everybody know, we're going to invite some folks in to the chat room next week to come beyond the chat and actually be physically with us if you'd like to join us. Little holiday time.
Very cool. Yeah.
So we'll gather up some emails, we'll send the invites, and then you guys will come on next week. So about Sunday night, 8:00 Eastern, and we hope you can make it. But
you know what? Actually, most of the guys know me on Facebook. Just send me a message if you want to come on next week. Joe and Steve, and I think there's a few people around the world.
Yeah, Steve is in Portugal and Scott's in New England. Let's invite Scott, Ray J because he's got some pointed comments. My buddy Ryan here in Carlisle, he'd be great. So
anyway,
we can rotate 4 or 5.
Just get me there. You guys get a hold of me on some social media. I look at all of it eventually, and shoot me your email. Tell me you want to get on. I'll send you a link, and then we'll close out the year with. I guess all the people who has been supporting us for the whole year through, be watching us every week live, but in the chat, giving us input on everything. And I think it will be, make for a nice little close of the 2025 year.
I agree with you. I think that's a wonderful idea. And I could finally have somebody raise their hand in the chat room. I'm always like, oh, when do we get to use that? Let's use that.
Is that what's popping up and down?
Yeah, that's my raising of my hand. So there you go.
Oh, okay.
But no, I think it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a great way to end 25. Get ready for 26. It's going to be the year of growth for this podcast. I have full faith and confidence, Casey, in everything that you're doing, all the buttons you're pushing, and the wheels that you're turning. It's going to take off. It's going to go.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's like I said, I posted it is something you put. It's the highlight of my week, getting on here for an hour or so and just sitting here and just shooting shit and talking about wrestling and making fun of a few people and laughing and, talking about the old days.
That's right. So, yes, get a hold of Casey if you want to join us live next week for our year-end special. And, of course, we would like everybody, whether you're watching this for the first time or for the 100th time, like, share, subscribe, tell some friends, tell people about it. It's a Sunday night, two guys sitting around talking about wrestling that you probably would have liked or you want to learn about. So, yes, and just tell everybody that you can. Tell people you don't know. It's a good way to make new friends.
Real quick before we go, my shoot job, one of the guys sent me a message. He's like, hey, someone in the back office, one of the girls is a big wrestling fan. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. It's like, yeah, oh, yeah. She's like freaked out that you work for our company. So you might have another viewer on the, watcher, listener and all that. I'm like, all right, cool. Thanks, bro. And he's like, oh, my God. She's like, he's wrestled Vader. She's like, oh, my gosh. He wrestled Steve Austin. I'm actually wearing a Steve Austin shirt. And then because he's sending me a copy of all what she's writing. And then she was like, oh, my gosh, he does that with Kevin Kelly. Oh, my gosh. Oh, this is going to be great. So
welcome aboard.
I've never talked to her, don't know who she is, but hopefully you tuned in and you're watching.
Yeah. And if we've said anything offensive, ma'am, we hope you don't report Casey to HR. This has nothing to do with his work. I was surprised. So at my shoot job, again, I work with a bunch of truck drivers and I've always kept the oil and the water separate. So I don't talk about wrestling because it's not of any interest to anybody except for me. And I just recently changed shifts, so it's a whole bunch of new drivers and a couple of guys that I don't see very often, but I see their names and I kind of know like who they are. I know they've been with the company a long time. And one of them is just walking through the office the other day and just turns to me, and he's never said boo to me before. And he just turns to me and he says, I got to ask you, how'd you come up with the name Kelly? And I was like, oh, shit. Well, funny story.
Because
on
you
my
use your
way,
shoot name there.
yeah. Right? Because I'm just Kevin Foot there. And it was, I just told him the story about how I was riding up there with Cliff and a bunch of guys, and it popped into my head. So Cliff introduced me to Eddie Mansfield as Kevin Foot. I said, oh. And I saw Eddie's face. It was kind of like that. And I was like, how about Kevin Kelly? And he was like, an Irishman. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I interviewed Cliff, and I got the job. That was it.
Yeah.
The interview I had done at the school 12 times, 20 times, whatever it was.
By any chance, that package did you receive, did you read the label on it?
Well, yes. Where exactly is that?
I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was a lot of carny.
Yeah. It was different. I was laughing out loud. I'm like, wait, this isn't your home address. Hold on a second.
Yeah, my girl was looking at it doing like, huh? What is that? I said,
Kevin
he'll laugh
will get it
when he sees it.
He'll laugh. Of course I did. All right. I got to take my dogs out. They're barking at me. I know.
Almost bedtime, though, for you.
That too. Up at 4, my boy. All right. So, year-end special next week. Lots of fun, some gifts, some laughs, and a whole lot more. And for Casey Thompson, I'm Kevin Kelly. Merry Christmas, everybody, and we'll see you for the year-end special next week right here on the In-Ring Wrestling Podcast.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Make sure to like, share, and subscribe the In-Ring Wrestling Podcast.